You want to be heard? Yeah, let's call this meeting to order. Today's Kingsburg Public Safety Committee meeting. Today is Tuesday, August 12th, and it's about 4 o'clock. First on our agenda today, we have to approve our agenda for today. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion.
I second.
Motion and a second. All in favor? Opposed? Any motion carries. Next, we have presentation and information reports. Today, we have none. So next on our agenda, we have public comment. Do we have anybody in our forum today that would like to, in our hall today that would like to have public comment, speak on public comment today? Yes, come on up. I wasn't sure if you're here for,
It was hard to see you through the
yeah.
corner.
Just please state your name and if you're a resident of Kingsburg.
Give you all a big thank you for that donation, right, for the helmets. It was a big hit. I handed them out on You Matter Day in May. I ended up purchasing about approximately about 100 helmets. I'm down to 2. So I handed them all out to 2 children that came up to me, and along with that, not just purchasing the helmets, we purchased a lot of pamphlets of bicycle safety, all this other safety stuff, including vapes, internet safety, all that knowledge and information to give out to the students as well as parents. So all of that we were able to. Sorry. Right. Should I start over? So big thank you. It went a long ways. I see the helmets out there on the streets. I see the kids with neon helmets. They're riding around. Those are part of the ones that we gave out. So it was a big hit. And I actually, just the other day, we had the health fair at the district last week. We had another helmet. I gave it to the family. And then their family members came up to me afterwards and they were like, I don't know if you saw it, but I just wanted to thank you because I was standing behind my child and I just saw their face just glow up when you approached them and gave them that helmet. So I just wanted to thank you. And I was like, that was very heartwarming. And hey, that's why I'm here and that's why I'm doing my job. So I want to thank you guys. Thank you so much for the support. We'll continue to push that out there for our kids and continue safety.
Sure, that given out all the program and share. Yeah, Chris was in that picture too, just right over.
Just caught me out of it.
Sorry, didn't mean to. We were just so excited with her new helmet.
Oh, good.
I like that they're nice and bright too.
Yes.
Yeah, they're bright. I worked with the company Trax bicycle company.
Correct, yeah.
They actually we worked together and they're good quality helmets. They actually also donated about, I think it came out to about $400 of vouchers. They were $20 vouchers to give out with the helmets.
Nice.
So if I didn't have the size, because I just selected a few options of sizes. So he's like, if you don't have them, you can give them this $20. It is $20. You can come into our store and purchase a helmet. So I also have that. I still have a couple of those left to be handing out. So, and we're also working together to do a bicycle rodeo sometime this year where they come out and they talk also about bicycle safety. They do a little rodeo. I know the CHP does a program like that. I'm still working with them, but it's a little difficult with their schedule to fit them in to come down here. But if not, we will create one and make it our own and kind of put the kids to tests on riding bicycles around cones and tell them about the safety, about how to wear a helmet and why it should be worn. So again, I just want to thank you guys. Thank you guys for that support.
Another person from Trek used to live in Kingsburg. And so he's very connected and has a soft spot for it.
Absolutely.
So he will always do things.
Yep.
He's also my son, so he knew he had.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Yes, we talked. And,
Yeah.
so, yeah.
But no, he was so happy to do things, and we've talked about the bicycle rodeo several times, and you know, they're very excited to do things.
Yep.
For Kingsbury to put the kids there. There's no better sport than local sport, even if he lives in Clovis now.
His heart's here.
But his heart's here and his roots are here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a question that has nothing to do with the bicycles. I know you're doing schools, but I assume during the summer you've been out on patrol a little bit.
Yes.
Do you know what's happening with the teddy bears? Do you guys have plenty of teddy bears, or do you know?
We have not received teddy bears. I know the sheriff's office did get donations
Right, I
of
saw
teddy
that.
bears. We have not received them. I don't know who's handling that, but I can look into it and see if we can reach out to the organization that has the bears, and then maybe we can get some. Or if you
Information.
know,
No, I don't. I haven't been to the station for a while.
yeah, but I can look into that and find out where
Yeah.
we can get those bears. But I know the sheriff's office did get the donation of the bears, and they have that
Yeah,
program.
it was on the news.
So we will look into it.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were happy to help you guys out, Christian. You know, I went to You Matter Day, and it seemed like it was a great hit. You know, I walked around to almost all the booths, and I did see the kids getting helmets. I think, did you guys have a wheel or something?
Yes.
Yeah, it was-
Well, we did a Plinko because I only had a limited helmets.
Okay.
And obviously, I couldn't just hand them all out and be done within minutes.
Right.
So I kind of made it a game and got a little Plinko where they had to come drop the little coin and let it go down. And then
That's
I
what
had
it
two
was.
options of winning helmets. And then the other options were swag. I call it swag, which was the Kingsburg PD. We have a couple of swags. Like footballs, we have pins, we have magnets, we have all that cool stuff that, well, I think it's cool, but the kids probably don't. I don't know. Maybe it's the opposite. The kids think it's cool and I don't, but we had that. So it was just kind of, that way I can stretch out the amount of helmets that I had to be able to, you know, withstand the length of the You Matter Day. But no, it was fun. It was a fun activity. I had Officer Fuentes out there with me to assist me, which is our motors. He brought his motorcycle up there, so it was a bike with the bicycle, and you know, it was really fun. And I'm glad you got to see some of that.
Yeah, I did, and I took a couple of the pamphlets. I think it was on fentanyl, and I gave them to my teenage grandkids. Said, "Hey, look, read this. This is important stuff. You know that this stuff's no joke.
Yep.
A lot of teenagers are dying, or a lot of, you know, not only adults also are dying from fentanyl poisoning. So
Correct.
that was a good little pamphlet to to take."
Correct. So I got a pamphlet of bicycle safety for the adults, and it was kind of like a little pool. So it said like, okay, like the simple laws, right? So it was like helmet safety, then you pull a little tab and it gives you the information, and it says riding at night, and then you pull it and it gives you the information. So it's kind of like a pamphlet. So with every helmet and every parent, they got the pamphlet for that. We also got a small little pamphlet of internet safety for the children, and I mean, for adults as well, but it's about the internet safety. So, you know, monitor your children's uses of internet, what there's out there, you know, what programs are. So all the pamphlets on that. And then of course the vaping was another pamphlet of like, what are the harms, you know, to vaping underage, what can it do for your body, and what, you know, how to stay away from it. And there's like contact information. So if you wanted assistance or help for an addiction, and that was also something that we purchased because we see it, you know, in the schools, not as much, but, you know, we do see young teenagers, you know, vaping. And that's just the norm, I guess, now, you know, from smoking cigarettes to now vaping. So we kind of focused on that to be able to hand out as well for any events. Obviously, we're back into the school year, so we're going to roll into, you know, safety days. So we'll get out, you know, the local law enforcement agencies to come out along with, you know, Caltrans. I reached out and we got you guys coming out to one of our schools last year. So we hope to do that same thing again and just make a big collaboration and put out all of the information for our citizens, our students.
Is red ribbon thing just something of the past now? And I'm showing my age. I mean, because with, you know, the issues of fentanyl and other things now more than ever, personally, I just think that sort of education is needed.
Mhm. So it's kind of it kind of died out the Red Ribbon Week. I know Reagan Elementary does do. I mean, they all do, but I know for a fact that they've already invited me over, and I'll go inside every classroom and I'll walk around. And I know they have health that's there. County Health, I believe, is there. I am there, and we kind of just go through every classroom and we all present something. So I'll focus more on hey, the legal stuff, standings, right? If you have possession of this, if you're doing drugs, this can happen, and so on and so forth. And then behind me comes the health, county health, and talks about more focused on health. And then we do that throughout. But it's changed because talking about age, I grew up with the DARE program, right? And the DARE program kind of changed, and then it evolved to the GREAT, right? The new standard of that. And then it kind of trickled down. And it's just, I think we're all seeing it out there in the communities, especially in law enforcement, is that the funding is not always there, and the focus is different now because times have changed. And then obviously we sit with, what changes of the state regulations and what we can and cannot do. And it just kind of changes a little bit, but all we have to do is just evolve and figure out smarter ways to do it. And like I said, with your guys' donation, I was able to purchase pamphlets. So at least that's one way where we can do it year round.
So you've got some back to school events and things like that throughout, let's say the next, we'll call it the educational year, now through next May. Do you have an idea how many events you have planned? Probably not to the scale of the You Matter Day, which I think was fantastic, and I was so happy to be involved with that. But what are your needs going to be for things like that? Whether it's the swag or tchotchkes or the brochures, pamphlets, things like that. What do you foresee throughout the year?
Throughout the year, I mean, the pamphlets were going to be, I only have so many and it's limited. So if anything, I would need more pamphlets to replenish that stuff. So looking forward to it, I would probably need to purchase more, and then kind of take on what's happening around us. So if anything's changing from kids are no longer focusing on vaping and they're focusing on hard drugs. Okay, so then maybe we need to redirect it and purchase items for that direct that stuff. But as of right now, with the amount of events, eventually I'm going to probably run out of pamphlets. But because we do have a lot of events coming up, every school site has safety day. Along with that, we have open house. So tonight we have Rayford Johnson has the open house, which I will be there. So we have those, and then any other community things. So we have the Shrews Festival will be out there. All the community for the city stuff, we get out there and pass out pamphlets and stuff. So we'll just have to adapt and figure out how we can continue to push that agenda of safety.
Cool. That's up to you. It's.
I know that we talked about it in the past, like the fentanyl awareness through, was it Smith Camp?
Yeah,
Didn't they do something at the high school?
they did. Yes.
Do they ever do it at the junior high and at Reagan? Have they ever done anything like that?
What's that?
Fentanyl awareness. I contacted Officer Dean Cardinelli in Fresno,
Okay.
and I gave him the numbers of the high school, the email address, and he emailed them, and then they got back that the high school declined the first year because they said our when they have their activities were full for the year, and then but the next year they did it. It was only 6 months later they did it because I got hold of them at the end of the school year. But the junior high never got back to me on it.
I'll tell you what, Vince.
Yeah.
We brought Dean in along with Dave Esquire, who's a retired DEA agent, brought him to the Lions Club for a presentation.
Mm-hmm.
And I've never seen so they understand the dangers and what their kids can do and how accessible things are on an app. And in essence, being door dashed to the home late at night. I mean, it's just,
I remember, wasn't it, don't they bring like a family member of this lost
Yeah.
their child from an overdose?
Yeah, I believe it was Lisa Smith-Camp, Dean Cardinelli, and then a parent
And yeah,
of a teenager who died of fentanyl. And they did a
So-
presentation
share their
at the
story.
high school.
Okay.
It wasn't last year, it was the year before.
I'll tell you, it was
2023, because my daughter was a senior when they did it. So I tried doing it in 2022. And they said, well, we're interested, we'll do it, the school board said we'll do it. And they did it the following year. But they didn't do it last year. But they did it 2023.
and that presentation has just gotten
Yes.
better.
So maybe this year I can get a hold of them again and,
It started out.
I think the junior high is a good start
okay,
too.
cool, nice.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, that's where
Yeah,
some
cool.
of this stuff starts.
Cool, great.
Even
Vince.
before.
Yeah, so what I've seen, so my last year was my first year as the school resource officer.
Yes.
I'm rolling into my second year. Obviously, first year is always a growing pain, right? We kind of figure out and kind of communicate and kind of figure out what are my do's and don'ts, where's my left and right lateral limit, where can I stay in the lines or where.
Yeah.
For this year, we kind of have more of an understanding. And I, for one, am not opposed to doing anything that we need to
Yeah.
do. So as long as the district's okay with it and we can find time in the schedule to fit something like that, I would love a
Linda
contact.
just told me
So-
you had some information on that.
Yeah, so we contract with a company called Success Together, and they do these family nights where the whole family comes and does science, math, English language arts. However, we've added to that. The company came to me and said that they do a drug and vaping awareness for parents, where the parents are in one room and learn, have a more,
Depth.
in-depth conversation with maybe some images that are a little more serious, and while the kids are in another room, still also learning about healthy bodies and not vaping and stuff like that, but a little more geared to kids. And so we have contracted with them to do that for drugs, alcohol, vaping, any things that kids can ingest. I'm going to show my age, but huffing is still a thing, and we need kids to understand and not even take anything, inhale it. So that is going to happen at Rayford Johnson. I believe it's in October, because every single school site does a week of Red Ribbon Week. It does include anti-bullying, but every school site will have a nurse, county person, and probably Chris going and age appropriate. We're going to say different things to kindergartners than we are to sixth graders, but age appropriate to share about staying drug free and alcohol free. And then this company, Success Together, is also going to come to Reagan, and we're going to invite families across the whole district. And have one where it's going to be internet safety, and specifically some of the apps that the kids use. All kids seem to have Snapchat and all, TikTok and all of that. So it's not going to be like, here's how to delete it off your kid's phone, because kids will find a way to put it back on their phones. It's going to teach parents how to use that Instagram or TikTok or Snapchat safely, putting on certain restrictions on their phones, on their kids' phones, and on those apps to make it age appropriate, because we know kids are going to use them. They're going to find a way to have Snapchat even if their parent says no. So how do we help parents be able to be knowledgeable, to understand the apps, how the apps work, how their kids are being contacted by people they don't know through these apps, and how they can, be safe with them. So we're really excited to add that, and Chris will be a part of those conversations as well as the Red Ribbon Weeks, which will be the end of October, the last week of October. And then we will have our 5 safety days, which have been such a huge hit across the district. Kids are not tired of seeing Chris and his coworkers and the fire department, but we're going to also add, I really think it was your idea about bringing Caltrans, but now we're going to bring like PG&E and the gas company and other people, because they need to know what's safe when it comes to electricity and those kind of things as well. So we're expanding, and Chris is a big part of that. And without the resources that this team gave last year. I mean, such good work has been done. So thank you.
Thank you, Kristen.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, have a
Thank you,
great
guys.
day.
Excused.
Next, we'll move on to regular calendar. Approve the minutes for the 5/13/2025 Public Safety Committee meeting.
Motion.
Second,
Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Motion carries. Thank you. Item number 2, regular calendar is use of funds discussion. Luckily last year we gave out all our funds. We gave 5,000 to Mr. Christian and You Matter Day, and then we gave the rest for the drone, the police department's drone, outdoor drone, and we just recently got 10,000 more in July this month.
And I believe that we had committed to the other, I think it was roughly $3,500 for the rest of that drone. So we still have,
Oh, did we? Okay. Did we say that? That's right.
yeah, that we would. Right, it was use it or lose it. So we used what we had.
We had,
And we
yes.
said we'd revisit that, which I think, I'd like to hear an update on that.
Yeah, and I'm sure we can talk to Linus about having them come in. I know Linus probably has some information on that.
Yeah,
The police
I did.
department coming in and talking to us about the update on the drone, and then if they need more funds,
I did contact Lieutenant Salinas, and what he said was, good morning, we are waiting for our first drone to arrive. We've used your funds from this committee for last year to pay for it. We want to try to get an indoor drone, which is less expensive, but I would like to wait until later this year to make that request. Can we go to one meeting in the future to make that request? So that's kind of where they stand. Very appreciative of what we did for them, but they would like to kind of solidify their funding and what they need for perhaps the next meeting. So that's where they stand at this moment.
So the outdoor drone is on its way. And now they're looking for a drone that they can fly inside of a home.
Yes.
Probably smaller or something.
It is, and that's why the price was less.
Okay.
On the second unit. But I'd still like to see, well, I'm a proponent of it. I'd like to get a little bit more information before we commit that other
Right.
amount
I
to
agree.
it. Because I think as our speaker said, it's interesting as we sit back and look over the last few years and the money has gone to the PD for cameras or various things like that, and we're seeing the needs are shifting. And I'm glad to see the benefits like the You Matter Day. I was by their booth and looked at it, they were swamped. And that's great, reaching out to our kids and doing some of these things. To me, I'm thinking maybe we should consider going back to not so much hardware driven donations, things like that, but more investments into the kids in the community that way that may have a longer reaching impact and results. Just something to consider. I think as the PD is doing some of these various safety fairs, things like that, it's something we ought to consider as a source. And they do have other options they can go to, but I think that nothing says more about the safety of the community than keeping the community safe and raising good kids that will continue that on.
Yeah, I remember we talked about putting on an event at one point. I believe it was maybe a year and a half ago. And I think that's a good idea, just to get out there and just keep people safe and just talk to people, get the fire department involved, the police department involved, and just build that relationship with the community, continue some of that stuff,
Yeah.
It's a good way to build personal relationships.
Maybe this committee wants to have a booth at You Matter Day.
Would
have what?
Would that get me out of the boxing of all the food like last year?
You probably have something else going on. We have something else going on for you, Alan.
Lions Club, we're happy to be
Yeah.
arm twisted. I mean, asked by Linda to be involved.
But that's something we could consider, with the funds, either donating them to police again, or like Linda said, we could have a booth. That's an idea of use, use of our funds. But we have to figure out, what theme we'd want, the theme we would want for our booth, and what we would pass out, and what we'd have there, and what kind of groups or whatever.
Well, I think as long as we realize this is a finite source of funds each year, and how do we maximize the return on the investment on however it is utilized?
Yeah, I think last year was great that you utilized with the helmets and then
Yep.
the drone for the police. Yeah.
Well, it sounds like the police are going to need more pamphlets. That's for sure.
That's what I saw, and I think that's something we ought to consider and have them come back with a request.
Right.
For sure, with even just with our 5 safety days at the different school sites, for them
Absolutely.
to have something to pass out to the kids. There's 2,100 and something kids in Kingsburg Elementary. That's just safety days, where they need something to, they don't need something, but it sure does help to be able to give something to a kid that talks about fire safety or
Right.
that. I have a question. I've only been on this committee, blessed to be on this committee for the last year and a half or 2 years now, maybe? Has it been 2 years?
Yeah, it's
Bobby?
been-
I think it's been 2
it's
years.
been-
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fun. Time flies when you're having fun. I'm just wondering, what is the historical amount of money that the city gives this committee? Has it always been $10,000? Has it been less? Has it been more? What is,
I can, from my experience, when I first came on city council, they had just started the funds, right? In 2018, right, Lennis? You were, and it's been 10,000 since like 2018. And I believe it was maybe late 2017, or 2017 was the first year they started giving this public safety committee funds. So it's been since 2017. Probably 2017, that was the first year they gave out funds, yeah. So,
There was funds, but it was Seconds to Survive or polyclass fingerprinting, stuff like that. I know Lennox has been on the committee for a while.
the speaker.
Yeah, historically, we really didn't do too much funding. We were kind of a sounding board for the community. That was one of the main thrusts of the committee. And then, later on, I think, Vince, when you came on board, then we did get the $10,000, and that's been the
Right.
amount for the past.
And I think Sherman Dix was the chairman in 2016, 17, and he's the one that kind of requested it, right? Sherman, yeah. My memory.
Yeah, I think the first chairman that we had was Ben Creighton.
Okay.
And then Stacy Smith was for, I think, a year, and then Sherman came along, and then you were the next in line.
Yeah, okay, you're right.
So I don't know whether this is a plum assignment or after they're trying to get rid of you.
Still doing this. I enjoy it. I like this committee, yeah.
Okay, good.
It's very important to me,
Would we dare ask for more money?
We can, was that going to be your question, Linda?
and that was, I'm not trying to be a greedy person.
Right.
I bought one of my children, my oldest child, a car, when he was going to college 7 years ago, and now my youngest is off to college, and I'm telling you, it's dramatically different, the amount of money we're gonna, he has to pay some too, but I'm just feeling like there's a dramatic difference between 2000, things costed,
Yeah.
6, 8 years ago.
Right.
And so I'm just wondering, I personally, Chris often works in my office at a desk and has a phone, and I've seen him, calling people and asking, how to get the best deal on the helmets, get more helmets, other safety things, maybe cups to hand out to kids, say be drug free or whatever. And so I know that it's not that they're just going to take the money and just
Right.
frivolous, but man, things are more expensive than they used to be. So I'm
Yeah.
wondering if we ask for more money, because it sounds like with the drone and with You Matter Day and possibly another donation to helmets, like we're in August, it's going to,
We may want another drone.
yeah.
I'm sure they will, but probably besides the indoor one, they'll want another outdoor one.
Well, I think unfortunately that because we've begun this fiscal year, it would be
Right, fiscal year's already.
an April or May request for an increase of funds, however the process goes, to the city for consideration. But I think it's something that we definitely need to calendar and circle back on,
Yeah, it's a good idea.
because there truly is no shortage of projects. So I said we still need to get the best bang for the buck. And unfortunately, it's like service clubs used to be a great source for a lot of these to go to. Service clubs are dwindling in Kingsburg. Rotary's gone, and Kiwanis is a small, and so leaves Lions and one or two others. So the pool gets smarter, or smaller, but the need is still there. So that's why I think, if we do request in the future more funds.
Good, we'll keep that in mind. Question for Linda. When are the school safety days? Are they all going to be in 2026? Or any 2025?
In this school year, so we have, our school year is 25, 26, and yes, all 5 of them will be, yes.
Okay, yeah. So.
Yeah, so we have really technically 6 schools, but Central Valley Homeschool partners with Roosevelt, so they bring their families to that day. So we spread them out because it is difficult to have them all have the law enforcement and people come multiple days in a row.
There's time for Christian to see how many pamphlets he has and what his need is. Get back to us.
Yeah.
Okay. But we meet once a quarter, so that it would have to be maybe next meeting.
Well,
next meeting. Right.
So I think then, Vince, to that point, we should have 2 presentations, or ask for 2 presentations from the PD.
Right.
One for the drone project, get an update on that, and also one on Chris's program and the things he's doing.
Right.
And they should be separate. I don't want them to be
Yeah,
combined
for
into
sure be
one.
separate.
Somebody's going to lose out that way.
The fire department, I know they have pamphlets and things, should be
Yeah,
looking at that.
Rodney and Chief Rodney and his group hasn't come, so I guess they're doing fine.
I guess so.
So
Maybe they're
that's a good thing.
aware.
That's a good thing. They're not.
Oh,
They are aware. He's aware. Yeah, they are aware.
Okay.
For sure. Yeah. Okay. Does anybody have any? Is there any more discussion we want to have on use of our funds, or
I think we
We're
just
good.
need more information.
reach out to the police and maybe reach out to them and have those presentations at our next meeting
Yes,
in 3 months? Yeah.
I think so.
Okay. Sounds good.
That's a future agenda item.
Yeah. Next on our agenda is future agenda items, and that's them. Those 2 for sure. Any others that anybody can think of? Might have. No. Okay.
Does CAPS ever approach us?
No, you know what, CAPS, I've been in there but not for public safety, for city council, talking to them and see what their needs are. And what's that? The healthcare, yeah. So they probably go to healthcare, and
Okay.
they don't bother the city that much for CAPS.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, next on our agenda, then we have committee member reports. If anybody has anything they want to report on anything that's going on.
I think we kind of rolled it all up in
Yeah, we did.
conversation.
We did kind of like public comment, so. Anybody have any? So we're good, okay. All I have is that we have a city council meeting coming up next week, next Wednesday. And as you all know, we had the slurry seal. Was it last Thursday, Abby? Last Thursday, We had some raveling with, in the bike lane that wasn't, the bike lane was full of a bunch of the little pebbles, black pebbles, so. And they're gonna be doing the striping, I believe, Thursday, this week, right, Abby? First day of school, but, yes. Yeah, I wanted to bring that up. The parking, yes, the parking will be blocked off, but the street will be open. You can drive back and forth. They'll have barriers where you can drive, but there's nowhere to park next Thursday. They'll be doing the striping for the,
Who did the slurry seal, Don Barry?
yes. Yes. We contracted him to do it, yeah. So, and this one was, the first one was slurry seal number 3. So this one, they did an upgrade, they did number 2. So this one is even a better quality, so should last longer,
Hope so.
yeah. Well, if nobody else has anything, that's all I have. On committee reports, I would adjourn today's meeting and we'll see everybody in
November.
November, yes.